Well, the Oscars are over, which means that the 2023 movie season is in the book. So I want to talk about some of the movies that I liked and didn't like, and talk about the Oscars too, I suppose, even though it's over and nobody cares. But let's get into it. In a world of Oppenheimer and Barbie, I have to say that I didn't love either of them. In fact, I really disliked Barbie, but I know the world was crazy about it. For me, it was a little disjointed. It had Will Ferrell being goofball and then trying to be serious with political and social messages. And I just felt that everyone in social media was saying, oh, they love it and blah, blah, blah. I didn't care for it. And then why is there a dance scene with a bunch of Kens? And why are there a bunch of Kens? And it just didn't make any sense to me. It was a children's movie. And along those lines, they kind of couldn't stand Oppenheimer either. I love the story of Robert Oppenheimer, and I've studied history and the bomb and everything. But where this movie went was like a 3-hour movie where the bomb was sort of the sandwich in the middle hour, and the story of communism was really the focus of the beginning and the end, with all the black and white, and that's, of course, where Robert Downey Jr. came in. But really, once the bomb had gone off, which they didn't even get to show me, and then it just became about the whole communism thing, I lost interest. I thought the movie should have been over. I would have lost the entire third act. I didn't care. It pissed me off, to be honest with you. Because it was just basically talking heads. There was this big sell, like you need to see it in IMAX. See what in IMAX? I never saw the explosion. I need to see a close-up of Robert Downey Jr. in black and white in IMAX? It didn't work for me. It wasn't terrible. It was better than Barbie, but it wasn't the best movie of the year, in my opinion. However, there were 2 movies, actually 3 movies, that did get nominated for Best Picture that are on my list of top 10 movies of 2023. And that is Past Lives, which I thought was extremely, extremely well done and charming. Zone of Interest, which I thought was terrific. And when I first saw it, thought, oh, this is going to win an Oscar for Best Sound. But then I thought, no, I don't think Oscar voters are smart enough to understand what's really going on with that sound. But they did, because they gave it the Oscar for Best Sound. I knew it was going to win for Best Foreign Film. And then the third one was Anatomy of a Fall, which I really, really liked, and just thought that was a terrific thing. You know, it's funny, I didn't even make the connection that it was the same actress in Zone of Interest, the lead of Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall. It wasn't until like the day before the Oscars that I was looking at her name on the list and thought, oh, wait, is this the same woman? So she's an amazing actress. I was kind of blown away by that fact. I thought Anatomy of a Fall was terrific. It had me on the edge of my seat. I really felt for the boy. I thought the dog was an amazing actor. I thought the whole thing, I even thought the lawyer was great. I thought everything about it was great. It was well written, and it was well acted. It was well performed. I can't believe that this woman did Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall, and she spoke different languages in each. Wow. But I just also knew that it was probably going to be too small a movie to win the best Oscar, for Best Picture of the Year, because, Academy likes them to go to big movies. Although, having said that, the last 5 years, that really hasn't been the case. If you look at Moonlight, if you look at Parasite, if you look at Coda, the best movies of the year lately have not really been the big movies. So, on the one hand, I suppose it all makes sense. Oppenheimer was the first big epic that they can give an Oscar to, in the way they used to give the Oscar for Best Pictures to big epics that were like big 3-hour movies like Gandhi or The Last Emperor or Passage to India, or just these big sprawling David Lean, Lawrence of Arabia type movies. And then it sort of like stopped doing that for a while. So here was a big movie worthy of that. Totally get that. And I'm not trying to take anything away, by the way, from the filmmakers of Barbie and Oppenheimer. They just weren't for me, and I just feel like I'm pretty much an Academy voter, not necessarily a populist viewer, but an Academy voter. Past Lives was a great sleeper. It was a really simple film. Again, it was, part in Korean, part in English, probably the same issue with Anatomy of a Fall, part English, part French, probably the same thing with Zone of Interest, German. But let me talk about the elephant in the room, Poor Things, which won 4 Oscars, including, in my opinion, a big upset, Emma Stone for Best Actress. Can we explain? Can we talk about that, because it ties into another part of the Oscars that I don't think anybody has talked about, or people on the internet are having these dumb conspiracy theories over. It does seem to be true that Hollywood likes and rewards women who do nudity. And if you haven't seen Poor Things, it to me, I thought it was a softcore porn for a third of the movie. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe that it was just full frontal nudity, and so much of it, and so much sex from Emma Stone. Like, wow. Wow. Look, I thought the movie looked beautiful. The costumes were great and all that jazz. And, the makeup. When I saw Willem Dafoe with that face, I thought, well, that's really interesting. But the movie was disjointed. It was by the guy who did The Favorite, which I thought great production design, not a great movie. He just uses a lot of wide angle lenses, and which works sometimes, but it's not. It also makes it very indie. It makes the movie very difficult to watch if it's not used properly. He also did that movie The Lobster, which was terrible and unwatchable. And then in it, it's about people wanting to turn into animals. And then here's the last scene of Poor Things. They turn a man into an animal. I thought the movie just was not worthy of all the acclaim that it got. And the fact that Emma Stone won speaks back to the other thing that happened at the Oscars, which was John Cena doing the nudity bit. It was hilarious. I thought it was so funny, and I loved it. But it seems to just tie into this sort of ongoing game of we award nudity. There's this theory online about how, there's these humiliation initiations that they make Hollywood people go through. I don't subscribe to any of that nonsense. But I do think that when a man plays a mentally challenged person like Forrest Gump or My Left Foot or Rain Man, they tend to win the Oscar. And a woman who takes off her clothes tends to win the Oscar too. And I know it's just theory and speculation, but I kind of sniff it. So I think that's really weird. Now, before I go, let me talk about my favorite part, which was that Ken performance with Slash. I just thought that was terrific. I actually thought if that had been in the movie Barbie, I would have liked the movie Barbie more. The I'm Just Ken version in the movie was like stuck out like a sore thumb. And that's my 2 cents. Goodbye, 2023 movies. Hopefully 2024 will be better. I can't wait to see all of the sequels and franchise movies. And I hope at least one movie this year is an original idea. Bye-bye.